Hello and welcome to Life in Mandyland. I'm your host, Mandy, and I'm looking for my rock I just had in my hand. I always like to hold a rock, and here it is. It's this one is some kind of blue opalite or something like that. But anyway, welcome in. Hi. Get your tea, get your water, get your whiskey, get your whatever that you're drinking. Sit back, relax, and let me tell you the homeless journey story. So, this is crazy that I'm even sharing this story. I have never shared it publicly before, and you're in for a ride. This is just nuts. I truly believe that I know that I chose to do this before I even got stepped foot in this world. I chose to do something completely different, this outside of the matrix. And what I mean by matrix, if you're not familiar with that, is outside of the norm, the cookie cutter, every day in and day out, 9 to 5, 8 to 5, get your work done, work all these years, and, you know, don't spend any time with your families, and you're miserable, and then you retire, and, you know, you're just really so old, that how much can you really enjoy while you're retired? So, but again, if you want to do that job, completely do it. I'm just talking about people who are doing a lot of stuff they don't want to be doing. And so I wanted to make a ripple effect into this world. I wanted to do something different because every action that you do, anyways, makes a complete ripple into the world. And I chose to do this. Me and my husband chose to do this. And the way I see it is that it is a ripple effect because I do not agree with the system, the way it is, the way, again, like I just said, you're working in this job, it's miserable, you don't like what you're doing, and you're not even getting paid that much. And you're just worn out and tired all the time. I want to live in a world where we live where we want to live. We do what we want to do, meaning whatever pa your passion is, whatever things you love, whatever things that you love to create, that you're able to do that. And you get paid for it. You get paid for doing the things that you love. And my philosophy is the more people that we have doing that in the world, the more our world is happy and whole. And, a lot of people, we just are more happier. We don't have the miserable people walking around. We don't have the crime. We don't have the assaults. We don't have all the horrible, evil shit as much. If you have a lot more people who are enjoying their life and also doing their healing work, that's a must. You have to do your inner healing work. You have to do that. But yeah, that's a whole nother topic that I don't know if I've talked about before, but I do have the 7 day soul plunge. So if you're interested in that, and that is your healing work, that is going in as 7 days of you going within. Um, let's get back to the homeless journey. Are you ready? Sit back. Let's go. 2008. Oh my goodness, you guys. All right, I always revert back to my book, Fertile Darkness. I made a lot of choices and decisions that hurt myself and hurt the people that I love. Go read my story and you can hear all about it. I brought a bunch of shit into my marriage from the trauma and the pain and the rejection and the abandonment and all the things that I had. But I had no idea how this was going to play out. Your actions and the things, watch the things that you do. It will tell you a lot. Um, it will tell you a lot. Anyway, so my actions were terrible and I made some horrible decisions and ended up almost ruining my whole relationship with my husband. Now, was he perfect? No. And what I love the most about him is after all of this, and this is in my book, but after all of this, he looks at me and says, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I want this. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why I'm doing the things I'm doing. I don't understand it. Why have I done this stuff? I don't want to do this." There's so many people who are walking around right now who are doing shit they don't want to be doing. They're hurting themselves or hurting other people, and they don't want to be doing it. Well, guess what? All of that is in my book, and you can read all about it on Amazon. So, yeah, I get it though. I get it. I went through it. I understand it. Um, so I know what questions to ask and where to go and how to, unravel this stuff because I walked it. I did it. It was my experience. But anyway, so we decided to do something drastic. Um, let me like rewind a little bit. So the drastic thing was the homeless journey. But 3 years before any of this happened, 3 years before 3 years before, this is the craziest shit ever whenever you look back over your life. Okay, 3 years before, we felt like we were supposed to do a homeless journey. But there's no way in hell I would have done that, or heaven or earth. Like, I had too much pride. I don't know where you come from, but where I come from, I was going to have my own place. I was going to be independent. I was going not to live with people. I was not going on a homeless journey because what does that look like? You look terrible. The ridicule you would get, the people looking down on you, thinking they're better than you. And no, I had to feel like I was on top of it. I had to feel like I was independent and had my own place because, that obviously is how I was taught. And hell no, I wasn't going to go live with people and do a homeless journey and not work. But that's something that Jonathan and I both felt like we were supposed to do 3 years before any of this shit happened. And to prove that we actually were listening correctly, we had a couple come to us and offer us to come live with them. It was right there. Everything we needed was set up for this. They came to us and said, I don't know why we feel like we're supposed to tell you this, but we feel like we want you to come live with us. And well, don't worry about, rent, jobs, whatever. Don't worry about any of that stuff. We just feel like we're supposed to offer this to you. Did we take it? Oh, hell no, because we were too prideful. We were not going to dare live with other people. Do you know our culture? Oh, hell no. No, we weren't gonna live with people. Jonathan really felt like this. He felt like we were supposed to. But I was like, no, 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 no. I gotta have my security. I gotta have my home. I gotta have my stuff. I gotta feel safe. No, 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 no. But all right, so let's fast forward to it's so funny how things come back around if you're supposed to do them. It will come back around for you. So we went through hell during those 3 years, basically. And then we had our home. We looked stable. We looked the part. We had all the things. We were still struggling some because our payments on our house were really expensive, and then our car was really expensive, and we were kind of living outside of our means, looking like we had it all together when we didn't. And so we would struggle with food and stuff like that behind the scenes. But anyway, so when we were working for this company, we were working for this company and the company folded. I was a secretary. Jonathan was working in the back, and we were both working in the back though. I would help too, and the girls would come help too. Our kids, and they were teenagers at the time. I think they were like 14. Yeah. 13, 14, 14, 15, something like that. Um oh, and then we had our oldest daughter. She was, I don't know, 17, I think. 16, 17, something like that. Anyway, so we would all like go and like we would do that, and we were homeschooling our kids and all the things, and we were in church. And go listen to podcast number 2, episode 2, and you can hear about all the home the church trauma story that me and Jonathan both talk about and to express. And that was very freeing to talk about that publicly, even though that's not something I want to sit around and talk about all the time, but it's part of my story, so we wanted to share about it. But anyway, anyway, where was I? Okay, so we were working at this company, And I was secretary, and yeah, I mean it was cool. Like, but again, I mean that's not something I really wanted to do, but it was cool. The company folded, and we were also at the same time trying to put our marriage back together because, again, I had to go through therapy. I was going through therapy. I was going through counseling. He started to do counseling too. We were doing everything we knew. That company folded. We lost our jobs, and we felt like, okay, here comes the homeless journey again. It came back up around again, and we both realized that was something we were supposed to do. We went to our kids and we talked to them about it and said, this is what's going to happen. What do y'all think? We got their opinion first. We respected our children, even though we were the parents. We respected them, and we said, hey, now did we do everything perfect? Fuck no. I mean, I'll absolutely not. Because of a lot of the stuff that I went through, I didn't do as well. Matter of fact, I never thought I would even have children, honestly, because I really thought that I'd mess them up. Um, that's a rabbit hole we can get going and on some other podcasts. But for now, we went to our kids. They agreed. They said, okay, we told them what we were going to do. They agreed. We decided to, everything, we knew we were going to lose everything, right? So we lost like it, before we lost everything, we were still in the home. We were still trying to figure all this stuff out. We didn't know how this was going to unfold, but we knew that eventually we were going to be homeless because we were not going to um, try to do anything. We were going to focus on our family. That was the whole point, is we were going to focus all our attention on our family. And don't do any of this if I would not recommend this for anybody. Not unless you have that deep kick in your gut that says this is what you're supposed to do. If it's that, then do it. If it's not, don't do it. Okay. So anyway, um, where was I? All right, so my mom calls. My mom and my stepdad live in Oklahoma at the time. She calls me randomly and says, hey, I feel like we're supposed to come to Tennessee and live with y'all and start, y'all have this amazing house and start, living our lives there and start our lives in Tennessee. And I was just like, even though I was kind of shocked that, she said that, I was like, okay, well, before you make any more moves or any more thinking about that, I need to tell you something. And I told her then that we were going on a homeless journey. We had lost everything. She goes, oh, we will figure it out. We'll figure it all out. Don't worry about it. We just feel like we're supposed to come to Tennessee. And if we can live with y'all for a little bit, and we can figure out a lot of things. Yeah, we'll figure it all out. And I was like, but you don't understand. Mom, no, you don't get it. This is going to be hard. This is going to be difficult. And it didn't. It went in one ear and out the other. And I was like, all right, yeah, okay. Y'all are welcome to come, but I'm just letting you know what's going on. So they did. They came in, moved in. Seemed to be going okay for a small amount of time before everything went nuts, ballistic, crazy. But anyway, yeah, they came in. My stepdad painted the house, and like he was, he did carpentry work, and he painted the house. I think we painted all the rooms like several different colors because we were trying to figure out, well, I guess since we're here, we'll make this our home. And oh, we started doing an MLM company, and we thought maybe we were going to get rich from that, which bonded our family. Now, I will say that we did get rich, but not in the money way. We got rich in our family coming together. So our family came together and it was really good. We all like really bonded, and we went up to meetings together, and the juice that we were selling was incredible. It was actually, my husband's back was out for a while, and it began to heal his back, the inflammation, and that juice is no longer at all to be found on this earth. And God, I wish it was, because the shit was amazing. Um, anyway, so we were, we thought, okay, well, maybe we don't have to, go homeless. Maybe we can figure this out. But it never happened. And then we were like, okay, all right. So we began to lose everything. We were living in the house, and weird story though is that the guy who was we were, renting to own the house from, he wanted to give us the home. It was really crazy. He came to us and said, I really want to give you this home. And we were like, what? Yeah, he wanted to give us the home, so we figured that we were okay. But we weren't, because whenever his business went under and all that stuff happened, um, he said, y'all need to get out. I need the home. Weird. Anyway, that's when we realized, all right, this is actually happening. So we packed everything up and we moved all of the stuff that we wanted to keep. We moved it into a storage building. My parents went to someone else's house for a little while, and we did something else. I don't know where we went. I think we probably stayed with a friend or something. Oh, we ended up moving, yeah, with them for a little while. But then they got an apartment. My parents got an apartment, a two-bedroom apartment, and we moved in with them. So everything seemed to be going smoothly. But again, it was tough because we were helping them with like house stuff and other things, and they were, mom had a job. Pops wasn't really working. He was working a little bit doing construction. Jonathan would kind of do a little bit of construction, but to have a full-time job, we decided not to do that. But we still ended up living with them for about a year, and that was one of the things I did love was we had a pool at that apartment. Absolutely love that. God, I spent so much time at that pool. Ugh, that was like a break away from the monotonous craziness because it's really hard whenever you're living. This is the reason why we didn't want to do living with people in the beginning. Remember that couple that said we could come live with them? We didn't want to live with people because it's hard to live with people. You have a lot of this, if you have it's friction, when you live with people. Basically, but it's a teacher though. It's a teacher. It can teach you how to, work together. If it's working together and you're all like paying attention to what's going on and you can all help each other and it can flow, there's a flow that can happen. Um, but with this, I mean, we were doing our best. Everybody was doing their best. I'll just say that much. So, but after about a year, there was new management that came in, and the new manager did not like all six of us. I say six because my firstborn daughter, she went to a Bible college. We got her all of the stuff she needed and took her to Bible college, so she wasn't with us. So it was just our other two girls, my husband and I, my mom, and my stepdad, which I call Pops. I love him very much. Anyway, and we got to know Pop. I wouldn't, even though it was rough and rocky and it was difficult, living with parents and all that stuff. I wouldn't take that time back for the world because we got to know Pops on a whole different level. And because they had always lived states away from us, so but we got to know him and we got to pull out the silliest side of him and we would just dance and be goofy and like it was just one of the most you can always pick out the wonderful things that happen, even if it was hard or difficult, right? And so, anyway, yeah, so I just loved that part. I loved like getting to know him and just the fun times. The fun times just really stand out to me. Now, the hard times are the ones that shape us. They're the ones that, yeah, it's such a struggle, but at the same time, that's the teacher, right? The teacher comes in and says, okay, we're gonna change this up. We're gonna work this out. We're gonna, you got to deal with something because living with people, you have to look in the mirror. You have to deal with yourself. If you're living with people, that is what one of the things I've learned the most is that people are a mirror for you. So whatever you see, instead of blaming it on them, it's a mirror for you. That's one of the hardest things I've learned about, but it is true. And so, but if you can actually look at them and not, like I said, not criticize them, but actually look at your own shit and be like, you know what? I don't have control over anybody else, but I only have control over myself. And you deal with it, you deal with you, and you love on you and you help you. Everything else basically can be worked out, for the most part. That's not always the situation, but for the most part. Anyways, so so the manager said, kicked us out. She said you have to go. And that was tough. And it was time though. It was time. We left. That part was one of the hardest. I'm burping. I just ate, so bear with me. One of the hardest times I've ever had because we didn't know where to go. And I tried to find somewhere first off for my kids to spend the night. And so the first thing I did was ask them if they could ask their friends if they could spend the night somewhere because I couldn't bear the thought of them staying in the van with us. So that's the first thing I did. And yes, they were able to spend the night with their friends, and their friends didn't know what was going on. We told them not to tell anyone because no one was going to understand the situation. They went to spend the night with their friends that first night, and me and Jonathan, tried to sleep. I could never sleep in the van. It was scary. It was scary to be out there, not knowing, what was out there, who was out there. It was really scary for me. I had never been in that position before. I'm glad it happened now because I can identify and understand a little bit about what people are dealing with if they're homeless. And personally, I don't think anybody should have to be homeless. I don't care who they are. I feel like they should be able to have a place to stay and have a safe place to stay and maybe learn a trade or something they love doing and be able to be provided for while they're learning their trade and then give them an ample amount of time and or get them rehab or whatever it is that they need and then let them yeah, let them be free and let them do the things that they love and get paid for it. I can talk about that for hours, but I don't feel like people should be super scared like I was. I don't think people should have to be afraid and wonder where their next meal is coming from and where they're going to stay the next night and just terrifying. It's terrifying. So that first night was really difficult and we were trying to, figure out what we were going to do. I think it was the second and the third night that my our kids came back to us and they stayed in the van with us. They seemed to be fine. I wasn't fine. I did not sleep. I'd maybe doze off a couple of seconds and then wake up and I'm talking a lot. This is gonna come out. I'd wake up a couple of seconds and look around and cry and I was freaking out. I was scared to death too that my kids could be taken from me. That was one of the scariest things because if a cop had come by and saw that my kids were in the van with that, like it could have been really bad. Again, these are experiences that I would do again. I would because this is how I can understand where other people are. But anyway, so this is what makes me a great teacher and a great healer because of the experiences that I've had. So, and yeah, I wouldn't know this without it. I didn't know. I've never experienced anything like that before, ever. So they seemed to fall asleep second or third night, but then somebody had offered, I guess, one of my daughters told their friend and they had a back house. We ended up staying with them for a night or two. And then we went to, we'd call someone else and say, hey, this is our situation. Can we come stay a night or two? They would say yes. We would stay there. Wrote music during that time. We had people that really knew us though and knew our character. Let's see, where did we go from there? We stayed with another couple for a little while, for I don't know, a few months, I believe, maybe a month or two. Which they were actually had just adopted a little boy. He was in a horrible abusive situation. And while we were there, he was learning yeah, he was sexually abused. He was basically put up for it was horrible. It was horrible. He was like his dad would like get paid for, or his mom would get paid. I don't remember who it was, but somebody would get paid to let other people. It was horrible. I just want let's just okay. There's some evil shit going on in this world. Sorry if this is a trigger warning. I should have said that. This little boy, let me just say this, he was getting to have a family. He was around us and he was around them. And he came in and we loved on him in the purest ways, right? He had already had the unpure ways. We were loving on him in a pure way. He uh matter of fact, I remember when he had started school. He was like 7. He had started school. And when he first got to school, he was not, he was always getting into trouble, obviously, and you can see why. He was always getting into trouble. Um, we'd been there 3 or 4 weeks, and then the mother, the woman we were living with, she came to me, and she came to us and she said, so I just got to she was adopting him, okay? She was adopting him. She came to me and she said, I just got his report from school. He'd already been there for 3 or 4 or 5 weeks or something. And she said the teachers were amazed at him. His grades are picking up, and his behavior is so much better. And she said, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. And she looked at me and she goes, you know what we've been doing? And I was like, what? And she said, y'all have been here. Your family has been here. And I was just like, oh my God, we were making an impact on this kid's life. And he was doing so much better. He was learning what pure love was after being so abused. And of course, she was trying to get him the help that he needed and stuff like that. But just and we were actually helping them like do marriage counseling. We were doing marriage counseling, and we were doing our own set of marriage counseling. Like we were following along like this set of series of this couple that was doing marriage counseling on YouTube or something, and we were writing stuff down. And they were actually going through marriage stuff too, and so we were all doing marriage counseling together. We would write down stuff and we would talk about it afterwards, and they would ask me questions and they would be like, well, how are y'all doing this and how are y'all doing that? And we would tell them. And yeah, it was like we were all getting therapy. It was really beautiful. It was hard. It was difficult, but it was also beautiful at the same time. Both of those things can be all at once, right? All at once. You can see how the hard part was us not having our own place. The good parts were watching people getting healed, all of us getting healed. And we were actually helping them with their marriage as we were doing our own marriage. It was really cool. Their oldest son didn't ever want us to leave. He loved us being there, and he told us that. He was 20 something at the time. And he said, I hadn't seen my parents be this good in a long time, and I love you guys being here. And this guy didn't trust anybody. He didn't even trust us at first. He was just like, I don't know who these people are. But we grew on him. And he ended up loving us after that. There was one time, and this is going to be a trigger warning as well. There was one time that the man of the house, he had some mental things going on. And one night we were down in the basement because that's where we were staying. And one night we were down in the basement, and or no, no, it was one morning. One morning, early morning, we were down in the basement and we just heard her, the woman of the house, like call down there and be like, can y'all come up here right now? Like not our kids, but me and Jonathan, mainly Jonathan. And so she called for Jonathan, and we came up the stairs, and apparently this man had had some guns sitting out and he just didn't want to do it anymore. He said he just didn't want to be here anymore, and he was actually thinking about ending it all. And so basically, Jonathan came in there and talked to him and talked him down, talked him out of it, and asked him, can I hold these guns for you? And so, long story short, that's what ended up happening. Jonathan was there for him. We were there for them. I was holding her, being there with her while Jonathan was in there talking to the husband because he was very, very serious. Um, and we ended up saving his life just by being there. And God, that was it just wow. Saving this man's life by us being there and him having people that love him around. And so anyway, they put the guns away. They hid them. Um, Sad enough, years later, this man ended up doing that. Um, 'Cause we had gotten a call, I guess it was 4 years later, maybe 4 or 5 years later. And it was heartbreaking because he was somebody we truly, truly, truly loved. We loved him very much. Um, but anyway, I'm glad that we were there the first time around. I don't know how much he's obviously struggled with this a lot. Um, but anyway, but we had stayed there for another, I don't know, month or so. And anyway, we ended up leaving that place. It was time for us to go. Um, and so you know when it's time, things will start stirring up when it's time to go. Again, their oldest son said, "Oh, we don't want you to go. We don't want you to go." But we did. We left, and let's see. From there, we didn't know where we were going, and we went to a place that we had started going to a church service. Actually, it wasn't even a church service. It was more like during the week they had service, and so we were going there, and we had been there for a while, and it came to a time we'd been there for a couple months. Came to a time where we didn't have anywhere to go, and we showed up there at one of the services, and after the service, I was broken because again we didn't know where to go, and anyway, I think right before that we'd called another friend and said, "Hey, can we come stay with you?" And he let us I mean, he said yes. He had something else going on, so we couldn't stay long. But I think we stayed 2 or 3 nights at his house, and then from there we didn't know where to go. So after the church service that night, I went to, one of the people and I told them what was going on. And they were like, "Oh no, 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 we don't want you to have to live, on the street." Matter of fact, they had a homeless, they actually fed the homeless and they actually had like gave to the homeless and stuff like that. And they were like, "No, no, no, we don't want y'all to your family." We had already made really good friends there, and they were like, "We don't want your family being on the street, whatever." So the girls got to go stay with, the because it was also a school. It was a school for kids that were wanting to be in this ministry or whatever. So they got to hang out with the younger ones, which were young adults, and they were great, beautiful human beings. And then we got to be in an apartment or stay, somewhere else. And so it ended up like working out to where we ended up having an apartment there. And then they left the grounds for a month or so, or a month and a half, or 2 months, or whatever it was. It was during the summer. And they asked us, "Hey, since you're here, would y'all look over the grounds and make sure that," because they had a lot of equipment, a lot of expensive stuff, and they asked us to watch over the stuff. And then from there, we would house sit. So anytime we didn't have a place, it seemed like something else would kind of work out. We had a house sit for a lot of people. We got calls. People would hear from other people about what we were doing and how we didn't have a place, and we got asked to house sit a lot. This one person found out. Let me back up. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We stayed there on the grounds for a while. And while they went and did their thing in different states and, went from state to state, and we got to take care of everything. We got food, we had all of our needs met. It was really great. That part was amazing. These people were so good to us. Um, and we were able to help them as well. It really worked out. Um, then in between all that time, again, we would have people call us and ask us to house sit. There was one person, like there's this couple that found out through other friends of ours. They found out that, we our situation, and they said, okay, well, we don't know them, but we know you and we trust you. So they trusted their friends, and we ended up house sitting for them for a while. They went on vacation. And they had a gorgeous, big, huge two-story house, enormous house on all of this land with chickens and sunflowers and, watering the grass. And we took care of the chickens. We watered their sunflowers. We swam in their pool. It was a vacation for us. They were on vacation and we were vacationing and we got paid for it. That would have been a cool thing to do. If you were going to have a job, that would have been a cool thing to do is go from place to place, have it set up to where we had a plan, right? Now that would have been cool as hell to just house it for people, word of mouth, who needs to house it, who needs someone to house it. And we did. We would leave their houses better, and yeah, we would leave their houses better than how we found them. We would really, there were so many people we house sat for during that time, and it was just sporadic. Then we came to another couple, and we lived with another couple for about a month or two. Then we lived with another couple for about, I want to say 9 months to a year. And they absolutely loved us, housed us. We helped each other. We loved each other. It was hard to live with people, but at the same time, it was hard for them. It was hard for us, but none of them, they never let that bother them. And we didn't let it bother us. It was peaceful. I was so thankful for them. They know who they are if they ever watch this. Oh my God. I love them. Like, and I haven't talked to them in a while, but because we moved states from that time, but oh my God, they are some of the most precious, amazing people that me and Jonathan both will love deeply until we die. I mean, like all of the people that like we helped them, they helped us. We we ended up helping like this other person's son. Like it was just the way that it all worked together. Not the ideal. When I say this was tough, it was tough. Not the ideal situation that you want to be in, but it was an experience. And oh yeah, we loved this couple so, so, so much and still do to this day. And I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And Jonathan loves you with all. And like, oh, I want to see them again. Like, I want to see them again at some point. But anyway, we ended up staying there. Then we moved from there. And it came down to a boil. We had to move. They had to move. And so we ended up like parting ways. And it worked out how it was supposed to. And the relationships still were good. And we ended up going, I called my mom and I'm like, I don't know where we're gonna go from here. My mom and her husband, my mom and pops ended up like renting another apartment out. So they were in a different place. We stayed with them for a little bit of time. And mind you, I never said this, but during this time of all of this moving around, there was a couple of times. Well, I had done this workout and I knocked my back out. So I had hurt my back during the times where we didn't know where we were going to go. Talk about, oh my God. We don't have a place to stay or we don't know where we're going to stay and my back's out, and oh my goodness. Whew. Tough. All right. So anyway, where was I going from there? We ended up going to my mom's, and oh my God, my back went out, and I knew at that point that there was a reason why. I'm a firm believer, and I always do this. There's a book called The Body Knows the Score, and this is something I've learned that when something's going on with your body at all, there's also an emotion that's connected to it. So whatever could, find out what that emotion is that's connected to it, and then you'll be able to heal the body. So they go hand in hand. So basically what I'm saying is when my back was out, I researched it to find out like what was going on because this anger was coming out of me. I was upset, I was not happy. And one of the things was it's because I felt not supported. It was because I felt unstable. Your back is like an area, especially your lower back. That's the part that holds everything together and stabilizes your entire body. Well, I felt unstable and it was scary, obviously. So it got triggered and I had to heal. And I had to stay at my mom's and I asked my mom, my back's out, can we stay with you for a couple nights? And we did. They let us, but everything was coming to a head. I remember, my mom even getting mad at Jonathan, like, why aren't you working? And blah, blah, blah. I just remember a lot of this going on. But my mom didn't even understand the path of the journey. My mom did not realize what we were doing. My mom didn't know that we had almost lost our family. And without this journey and without us not knowing where to go or what to do, that kind of shit draws you together. It makes you hold on to one another. It makes you like, whatever we got to do, we're going to do this together. And it makes you have the support system you need. And that's what it was doing. It was rebuilding my husband and I and our trust with each other and our love for each other. And it was doing all this stuff that she had no idea what's going on. Yes, it was tough. Yes, it was hard. Yes, it was a struggle. But there was something deeper going on underneath the surface that we couldn't even begin to explain. I tried to explain it to her and she still didn't get it. So what ended up happening was, oh, when we started the homeless journey the second time around, or I say when the second time around came for us to do this, Jonathan's mom he had talked to her and he was telling her what was going on, what we were doing and all things. And she said, why don't you come back home? Like our home state, like, 7 hours away. She said, why don't you come back home? We were like, no, we don't want to come back home. We fought coming back home. That entire time we could have had a place to stay. We wouldn't have had to struggle in that way to have a place. She said, I don't have much, but we can figure it out. So we had a place all along, but we chose to do all the other stuff, which again, I'm glad we did. We were supposed to. But it's just crazy how, anyway, we're at my mom's. We have to go. But everything came crashing to a point where we knew there was nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. And I remember, I guess there was a Christmas during that time, and we house sat during Christmas because people were leaving to see their family. We'd get paid for house sitting. We'd make cookies for people and deliver them to our friends, I say it was a struggle, but there was so much beautifulness in it too. The two of those, the beauty and the struggle and the survival and the crazy chaotic misery stuff and the beautiful stuff can all happen simultaneously. It's crazy how that works. Just think about that for a minute. But yeah, it was all a moving, working part. So what ended up happening was we called one of our friends that lived in our home state and said, we don't know where to go. And mind you, these are some friends that we had known for years, and they had come to visit us, and we had helped them, they had helped us. It was a great friendship. And so yeah, they had come visited us and we had a great time and but yeah, we had known them for years and I just called and said, "Hey, I don't know what we're going to do next." And she said, "You know what? I'm going to send you the money, pack up everything and come back and y'all can stay with us." And we were like, "Really?" And there she's like, "Yes, absolutely. Y'all come on." So we did. Went back, told my parents goodbye. And at that point, it was funny because I don't even think my mom wanted us to leave. She didn't. I knew she was going to miss us. And she didn't want us to go, even though it was difficult. And she knew that we couldn't stay there. But Anyway, so we pack up everything within a day or two, get in our van that we had that someone had given us, and it was a flood victim van. So it was a pretty messed up thing, but it actually ran. And it was the oldest vehicle on the road. So you'd be able to really point it out. But that thing ran for years, and we were so thankful for it. Oh my God. And our kids were not even, what I love the most about this whole thing is our kids were never embarrassed by that. Me as a teenager, oh my God, I would have been so like, I am not riding in that, you know. My kids, they loved it. They were like, they were telling their friends about, hey, you want to ride in our van? You know, like I was so proud of my kids. I was like, that's where it's at, you know? That's where it is. Anyway, I digress or divert, whatever. Um, so anyway, we pack up everything, we go back to our home state. And it was the fall time, and we got to sit on the back porch and drink tea and coffee and stuff. And I remember just looking out over the lake, the little pond, and I cried because it just felt so good to have a place, and I just needed to kind of recoup from everything. And we ended up being there for, I don't know, let's see, from, I don't know, let's see, mm, yeah, like 6 or 7 months. And, but then right after that, we ended up moving in with Jonathan's mom. And, we lived with Jonathan's mom for, I want to say 10 years. We stayed there for 10 years. It's crazy because, and that was beautiful and hard all at the same time as well. During that time we lived there, one of the things I've heard, some of my kids say was that was some of the best times that they had because we lived in a very small, tiny room where it was like me and Jonathan and then Faith, our daughter, and then Leah, our other daughter, and then Crystal, and then her boyfriend, which is now her husband. So we had like 6 people in this tiny room at one point, like, and we were all just in there like sardines, but um, it was a tiny home. And how it worked for 10 years, I have no idea. But we made good memories there, and it was, like I said, beautiful and hard all at the same time. Again, because it is difficult when you do live with people. You have good days, you have bad days, you have off days, but again, if you can figure out the dance, if everybody kind of just moves around each other, it can be a dance to where it can flow, and I've seen it happen. And living with people has taught me so much. From there, we left there and moved with our kids. And as of today, we live, in a community with our children. Our children. That sounds crazy. Our grown kids. And so all of this time, I've been doing deep dives in myself. The healing from the church trauma, the healing from the relationship, the healing from just doing a lot of my inner work. And it it's been a journey. It has. And it's taught me so much. It's taught me, I mean, this book came from it, this book. I remember, I think I've said this, like I changed so much over the course of how many years was that? From 2009 to 2000, however long it's been, like 15 years. And one of the reasons why I did this again is to do a ripple effect, because I want to see our world better. I want to see people doing some of the things that they love, doing the things that they love doing and getting paid for it and having everything provided for them. That is my take on it. Like, that is how our world should be. People doing their healing work, yes, and doing the things that they love. But I was supposed to do this. I was supposed to do this entire journey. And it has made me self-reflect more than anything, learn how to be more self-aware. I've took so many courses, like I've taken courses over this past, over the time to help myself heal more and um just and help the collective, help people. My 7 day soul plunge has come out of this space, just by me working on myself and dealing with my own issues and healing, those, and healing is something we'll continue to do forever. Um, I, it was, yes, traumatizing and yes, surviving, but now it's, it's not that for me anymore. It's, um, I gained so much from it. Every place we stopped at, everything we did, all the people we met, and all the people, all the love that we shared in, all the people that opened up their homes to us, and all the people that were attentive and didn't look down on us and actually let us help them. I saw I saw such beauty in it. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy. But yeah, that's where we are today. And now I do one-on-one sessions with people. I do the 7 day soul plunge I have if you are looking to help yourself at all. I do want to I That's what we do. I'll do that with others. I do tarot card readings. I do mediumship work. So yeah, all this time not realizing that all this time was morphing into me doing a lot of the things that I love, which is supporting and helping the planet. And from years from now, I want to see a different world. Even if I'm not here, I made a ripple. You make a ripple effect. Everything you do, every action that you do, you make a ripple effect. And what's your intention behind doing it? So my intention was to create a better world for us. Happier people, more whole people, more people like loving each other, coming together more, helping each other. That was one of the biggest purposes in all of this, to create something different in the world. So anyway, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Wow, that was a lot. I hope you enjoyed this. I don't know why I say that, but yeah, if there's a topic you want me to talk about, let me know. Um oh, one of the things I learned through this whole thing is that home is where I am. Home is not a place. It's not it's not a place. It's right here. Home, no matter where I am, I'm home. And that's one of the things I got from this whole thing. So yeah. Um, if you have an inspirational story that you've been through something and then it shaped you and it helped you, just like my story I just told you, that it helped you because my God, did this journey help me. You need to get in touch with me. Email me. I'll put it down here so you can get it and share. Let's talk about it because I really would love for you to, I would love to invite you to join me on my podcast and let's share your story because how we need some inspirational stories in this world. We need to uplift and shift the frequency of the planet. And we do this by sharing our stories, by being vulnerable and authentic and filled with love. Um, so yeah, if you want that, let me know. And we'll get you on here. If you want me to talk about any other topics, let me know that too. And I will have people on here. Y'all get ready because I'm gonna have people on here that are gonna share their inspirational stories. And you can go back and watch episode 4 and 5. That's Billy's story. Absolutely, like she is amazing. I love Billy, and I didn't know her before that. I just emailed her and heard her story and said, "Hey, can I?" I messaged her and said, "Hey, would you like to be on my podcast?" And she said yes. And that was the first time she's ever opened up about that, like publicly. So whenever you do this, though, then this is my first one. Whenever you do what I just did here, because it's vulnerable, it's real, it's authentic, it's open. When you do this, you step more and more into your power. You step more and more into understanding your soul's mission, who you are, and you're freeing yourself as you speak about it. So, what is yours? What's your inspirational story? And that's the whole one of the reasons why I'm doing this. All right, I'm leaving it here, and I hope to see you next time. I appreciate you, my love, and I did pull a card. The card that I pulled for today is follow your dreams. Let's see if it'll follow your dreams, follow your dreams, follow your dreams. What else does it say? It says something under here. There's actually a book that comes with this, and I normally would read it to you. Um, one second. Follow your dreams. Awaken vision sees clues. Huh. I honestly should read that, but I don't. Let's see. Follow your dreams. Let's read that real quick. Follow your dreams. Uh, follow your dreams. Follow your dreams. Here we go. Let's read this real quick, shall we? We're going to end on this. Awakened vision sees clues. The ocean can be yours. Why should you stop? Beguiled by your dreams of Vincent Dew. Vincent Dew? The secrets of the sun are yours, but you content yourself with motes trapped in beams. As human beings, our greatest endowment in life is the ability to dream. Some people follow their dreams to success, others let their dreams die in the reality of making a living. Oh my God, I just talked about this. There are also those who place their dreams in a mental box and hide them away in the hope of turning them into reality in the future. Once in a while, they take their dreams out to review them, but as life continues, the box becomes overloaded and dreams begin to spread as negative attitudes, depression, and obsession. This oracle is being offered to you as a test of your vision. Make a firm decision to follow your dreams you have put away in your dream box. Life is too short not to pursue your dreams. Bring your dreams out before they become suppressed and so far away that you forget they ever existed. Do not allow your fear to grow bigger than your belief in your ability. To follow your dream, trust your intuitions and listen to your heart. That's all it takes. When in doubt, it is to your benefit to take a risk rather than killing your dream. Even if you fall short in the process, it is a different kind of attachment. Trust your deeper instincts to create experiences that help you move on. If you avoid your dreams out of fear that you will be wrong, you will remain stuck to your present conditions. But if you weigh your consequences positively, you will find that the path to making your dream become reality is right in front of you. Believe in the guidance of your instincts and faithfully follow through. Success in realizing your dream is calling you. And the mantra for this is I rise above my doubts and uncertainty by following my dreams and learning to trust my heart. I rise above my doubts and uncertainty by following my dreams and learning to trust my heart. So I will leave it there for you guys. Follow your dreams. What is your dream? Don't let it hold you back. And I think that was really crazy and funny and awesome and synchronicities. There is no, there's no consequences. Consequences. There's no coincidences. There is consequences. There is no coincidences. There is no coincidences. Basically, this said everything I just talked about in order to, whatever you feel like you have been doing if it's taking you away from your dreams, follow your dreams, okay? It is so important. This is my dream, to speak my truth, to share my stories, to share your experiences, your inspirational stories, and to uplift this planet because I'm telling you, this has been a journey for me to learn and grow and heal and expand, broaden my horizons, and just all the stuff I've learned through this. I should do a whole podcast about that. But yeah, it's been a journey and it's been an inner journey. It's about me learning all about myself and expanding. And because I believe that I know that we came here for this. We came here, we left where we were. We came here and said yes to all of these experiences that we're going to have to learn to grow and expand and to learn how to love one another and be in unity. That is the whole point in my book. Anyways, all right, this is long enough. Love you. Peace. See you on the next one. Goodbye. Let's see. How do I get out of here? I forgot. Doobie doobie doo. Stop.